Okay, so let's start. Okay, I know a couple of you guys are here. Some of you know me, some of you maybe don't know me. My name is Jahidul, and I work full time, like many of you. I work for a software engineering company over here in Long Island, and part of my work is, apart from my work, actually, apart from my work, I do try to teach people. This, you can say, my passion turned into profession. So as part of that, like, I do conduct some open sessions like this, to let people know what's going on, to answer questions, to tell you something what you need, right? So um, I assume, let's say, most of you don't have much deeper idea on tech or maybe QA. So this session is an interactive session. I would like to get your questions. I would like to answer your question. Instead, I go over some traditional slides and things like that. I personally don't like slide. Okay. So you can have your question ready. Okay, I will answer those. But before I go ahead with your question, I will take maybe 5 to 10 minutes to, in a short, if I can tell you what QA is all about and what is its prospect and what can be done, what cannot be done, right? So maybe I'll take 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, I don't know. After that, I'll take your question, okay? So in software engineering team, there are a couple of roles. There are multiple roles, actually. You can find people, those who are building applications. You can find people building applications. In a sense, everyone contributes towards building an application. In a software engineering company, in a software engineering team, there are a couple of people. There are not only, one guys. The team consists maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 people. It depends, how big is your team and things like that. Depending on that, you may have a small number of people, you may have big number of people, right? So, but the usual team size would be 10, 15, 8, like that. But behind one product, there might be 10 or 15 teams, right? So each team consists number of people, right? Each team consists people with different skill set, not with same skill set. It is a teamwork building an application, enterprise level application. When we talk about enterprise level application, we are not talking about a single page web application, where maybe you can see a small blog, or maybe maybe your portfolios and things like that. We are not talking about those applications. We are talking about applications making revenue like millions, right? Or maybe millions and millions, maybe billion, right? Think about application like Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, right? These are the applications. They take like, they have their yearly turnover is huge, right? So we are talking about enterprise level applications, which applications makes lot money for a company. So those applications are sensitive. Those applications has huge value. That's why they invest behind those applications, and that's why they hire people like you, like me, those who are expert in the field, right? Because no one in the industry, if you are a business owner, right, you don't want to lose money, right? You really don't want to lose money. And in the current world, right, when it is too much, people wants everything smooth, perfect, and everything fast, right? And there are huge competitions who can do, who can give better service, right? So this is a service oriented industry, and in other words, service oriented world, not only tech but also everywhere, right? If you go to grocery shop, it's service. If this company provides good service, you go their grocery shop. If they don't provide good service, you don't go them. If they don't talk to you nice, you don't go to them. That's a normal thing, right? Customer service, product quality, everything is so competitive in this current world. That's why every software engineering company or owners, or the leaderships of the company want to make better competitive softwares. And there are always competitors, right? There are always competitors on the right, on the left, on the behind, and the top. So you always have to compete, and you always have to build something which is nice, better, smooth, and at the end of the day, which makes money, right? So you or the people behind these applications, there are people, group of people thinks about, the, let's say, grocery or shop owner, right? Think about Walmart owner, right? Who is the owner Walmart? What is this guy name? I always forget his name. Warren Buffett. He's the owner of Walmart, right? I don't know who is that guy. So these guys, they didn't know what is tech, right, at those days, but they have to implement at some point. These are the technologies and things like that in their industry, right? So the point to make things clear, so there are people makes business decision, there are people thinks about business, and then IT team or software engineering team is part of that effort, right? If you want to make something better, if you want to provide better service, you need good websites, you need good softwares, you need good applications, because you want to reach hundreds and hundreds of people, not only one people. You want to do smooth and better operations. So as part of that, every business organizations, from bank to insurance company, healthcare, and wherever you go, every company need applications to be running. It could be a web applications, it could be your desktop applications, it could be anything to everything, right? So these applications are software being made by a number of people. There are contributions of software developers, those who can really code, and those who, many of the software engineering team members can code, to be honest, but there are people that directly contributes towards building that application, right? So we name them as software developer. They write the code to build the application you see in your around. But there are a group of people, they think about business, they think about business aspect of the applications, they understand that business. If we take an example of bank, they understand the banking transactions, they understand the corporate banking, retail banking, all this stuff. But as a software engineer, you don't understand that. So in your team, you will have people, those who has better understanding on business. We say sometimes business analyst, business analyst. We may say some other things. Some, they might be domain expert. There are various definitions on those people. But in general term, you should understand there are people, those who has deeper and better understanding on business. They come to you and they will tell you, hey, Mr. X, we're going to do this. In some companies, they are named as something called product owner. They own the product. They behave as like a business owner, because in Citibank there is no business owner, right? It is a public company, and there are hundreds and thousands of shareholders, right? So someone has to act as an application owner. They come to the development team and they say, you know what, I need to implement this and these and these features, 4 new features, right, or 4 new campaigns, right? And then software engineering team get those informations out of those people, and they start, trying to do, they do some form of feasibility study. Think about doing a regular task in your regular world. If you want to do an unknown task you are not aware of, task you don't know the consequence, at the beginning you will do the feasibility study before you start, doing anything else. If you don't do feasibility study, if you do not assess how good, which direction to go, what to do, what not to do, what will be the outcome, what will be the consequence, what will be the danger, right, what will be the difficulties level, you end up with something not success, failure, right? So when these are the requirements come into, software development team does some feasibility studies, right? The engineers does feasibility study, how they will do it, what they will do it, so on, so forth, XYZ. So in that team, there are a number of people, as we spoke just now. There are people like developer who can code and build that application. There are people like understands that business, right? Business, in a sense, that domain, banking domain, someone who has better understanding in banking, in other domains, and you can name all other domains in the list you have. There are also people required to ensure that the things is, there are people also required who has excellency and efficiency to manage these huge infrastructures, right? What that means, when you build an application, it is not in the air, it is in some machines, it is somewhere. And modern applications are very complicated. It's not like only one server. Modern applications has number of components, and it is complex. It is not simple. It's not like one box. Okay, modern applications may have 40 small boxes connected to each other. They talk to each other, and finally you see some output. If you think about Amazon applications, if you think about your banking applications, if you just little bit think, you will see there are lots of components involved. Let's say if you go make an order in Amazon.com, you actually first search. When you search, you actually see many type of, many, what do you say, these suppliers, right? Hundreds and hundreds of suppliers, right? There are people like those suppliers, and sometimes you can go until their suppliers, there might be a separate window for those suppliers you can buy and things like that. You make full order, and this order transactions involve banks, involve PayPal, involve different Mastercards and other cards and so on and so forth, right? So your order talks to warehouse inventory, your order talks to the ratings and things like that, and your order talks to your Visa card like organizations, because Amazon does not own Visa card or Mastercard. So Amazon has to contact to Visa card and Mastercard in order to get and identify whether you are a good guy or bad guy, your card is right or your card is wrong, right? So once you do this, also there are many things, right? There are many things such as when you give an address, Amazon says that, you know what, you're giving a wrong address. So Amazon has the capacity to identify whether you are giving a right address or wrong address, correct? So and then when you make an order, so the address also Amazon does not own, right? There should be, these zip codes and this thing being defined by address is being defined by the state, not by Amazon.com. So there should be another party, there should be another group of people. Give me 1 second, something is just popping up, so I need to turn off some, I'm not sure. You guys get some noise of, some, I think, text. And Jaidil, don't know from where it's coming. 1 sec. Oh yeah, some of your microphone is on. I'm not sure, is this coming from you guys' microphone or not? I think, yeah. So yeah, thank you. So all right, what I was talking about, right? I'm sorry, I'm a bit sweating. So um, yeah, so I was talking about modern application, right? Modern applications has multiple components. It's complex. It's not very straightforward, right? It's not like a small box and everything inside the box. It's not something like that, right? So when we talk about this order, right, Amazon also has to validate these addresses are correct. Your billing addresses are correct. Your Mastercard is correct, and they also has facilities for you to save multiple addresses, send products in various addresses. Finally, you make order, they send you notifications in your email, and also they may send you in your text. You also can see where your products are going, right? In which, where, or like there will be order steps, right? As soon as it come out of the warehouse, you get the update, right? It goes to delivery, you get the update, right? So see, and even you can get those updates in your phone, right? So these are all decoupled system. These are different components works together, and you see some outcome, right? So these are like, think about having 4 or 20, 40, 50 boxes, and they talk to each other, and finally you get some output, you see something, right? You can do this smooth transactions, right? So all the model applications you see, we talk about enterprise level applications, has these are the complex components. And in that team, we have been talking about two types of people. People has understanding in business, people has understanding in pure coding, who can really build some application, right? Who can put major contribution towards building an application. So why I don't want to give all credit to them, because a software engineering team does not only consist people named developer. There are people called test developers who has capacity to do similar activities. Okay, I'll just close that window. That will solve the problem. Sorry for that. Okay. Yeah, sorry for that. Oh, yeah, no, it is some other window. Yeah, my apology, guys. So, all right. Um, Now, so what's the point for me to tell you how a modern application looks like, right? How you know these are the system looks like, right? This is just an example, right? There are many more things you see in front of you. You cannot avoid tech. You cannot avoid software engineering. It is hard for your life because when you take your phone, you can count how many phone. In my phone, there might be around 200 applications available, around 200, maybe 170 or somewhere there. You may have much more than me, right? So every day you are actually using this, utilizing this. You are interacting with this. You have maybe no clue on what you are doing, but you do interact, right? Now, if I come back to the team and the discussions on the team, right? So there are people like that, a business and the developers. There are also people like says that, you know what, the things you made, this is good or bad, right? They are someone decision maker. They can say, hey, you have made some mistake in this. This is not right. This is faulty. This has problems. In every industry, there are people called quality analysts. If you go to pharmacist, you go to car industry, you go to, what I cannot mention any I cannot say that there every industry there will be people those who has to ensure the quality of the product. It could be anything to everything, right? So software engineering industry is nowhere different or exceptional from that. So there are also people called quality analyst, right? This quality analyst or this group of people, job of this group of people is to say the software you made, this is right, this is good, this is working, and it can be used by public, right? So these are the people say gives a green signal to the team that, hey, I have tested, I have checked, and this sounds good, right? So, but the thing is that you may wonder that, what type of skill set these are the people needed, right? Think about it. It may sounds a non-technical positions, or it may sound like it's not that hard position. It does not require you to know so many things. It may sound, maybe it was possible back in 2000 or 2005 or 2010, but not in 2021. In 2021, in the industry, we look for QA engineers or QA analysts because QA analysts are being named as QA stands for quality analyst. So this quality or quality assurance analyst, right? So this quality assurance analyst title has been changed to QA engineer, right? Why? Because the company expect you to have engineering knowledge or engineering aspect of software development in your brain already installed. Because if you do not understand all these boxes, 40 boxes, and how they are connected, how they talk, and at the end of the day, you don't become a good engineer. You cannot really have a better impact in your team. That's the problem. If you have just a non-technical understanding of checking or validating functionality of an application, which means you go to amazon.com, you make an order or you search and do all these bunch of stuff, and then say, yes, amazon.com is working, this is working, okay, blah, 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 right? But you have no idea what's going on behind the scene. You have no idea how these components are talking to each other, right? So a good QA engineer, when we say QA engineer, not analyst only, a good QA engineer has this all-round knowledge of an application. It doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be expert in all ground, but he has to have sound knowledge in all these ground. If you want to claim yourself a good QA engineer, if you want to be valued by your company, if you want to be respected by your company or by your team members, you don't want to work in a place where you don't have respect. Because QA engineer is such a position because many team members will assume this is just an information goes all around. They will assume that you are someone like who, one second, I understand from where it's coming. Sorry, my bad, it's my bad. I have another window open. uh, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, let me mute conversation. Sorry guys, so it was me. So, all right. So, as I was talking about QA engineers, right? QA engineers are that's a real fact we often don't discuss about QA engineerings in a often in a to everyone. That's our problem. People, those who convey this message to you, we don't convey this message appropriately. As a QA engineer, you are nowhere you should not consider yourself someone having lesser knowledge than a developer, than some other team members of your team, like DevOps engineers or some other critical team members of your software engineering team, because you have particular job responsibilities and you have to do that one properly. And if you want to do that one properly, unfortunately or fortunately, you really have to have a clear and sound knowledge of all these moving parts in a software engineering system, right? Now, this thing makes harder for a candidate to learn, because a candidate is a fresher, and they have a mindset when a candidate comes as a QA engineers to learn QA engineers or get QA engineering knowledge. They confine their brain, their knowledge, their sense towards only one direction. They are not, they don't think in all directions. The problem is they confine themselves towards something called testing, which is not right. That stops their thinking process to think multiple options available, right? And that stops them to grow as a good engineer. That's a big problem with every Q engineers I have trained or I have came across. They're in the industry maybe 5 years. I have seen they cannot really think little wider, right? You know, you should not confine yourself only something called testing. That might be your responsibility, right? You might be someone who ensures the quality, but that's not the end of the life. You really have to have good sound knowledge in all aspects. Then only you can talk to your teammates, you can understand what they're talking about, right? You can contribute. The one thing people also lacking behind with when they work with this role, they don't understand that they have a huge role, they have chance to make a huge impact in the team. And people often don't take pride of making impact in the team. So if you do not want to take pride of you know putting a huge impact in your team, you will never enhance your knowledge and you will never try to perform. It's not like you do extra work. It's not something like that. It's not like you make someone happy. It's not like that. It's like contributing towards team in a positive way, in a better way. Only you, which this is only you can do when you know things, when you have knowledge, when you have hunger to learn. Because if you have hunger to learn, people will be willing to teach you, willing to show you, go this direction, go that direction. And eventually a person has knowledge, they can contribute towards the team, right? I think I took more than 15 minutes time. I think 20 minutes time. I will stop here. I would like to get you guys question if you have any, and if you don't have any, and then I can go for something else. So can you have your question, please? Is there anyone? I'm just trying to pull up your screen. No question? You can turn on your mic and you can ask the question. Hmm? No question. So Sayyid Ahmed, right? Did we speak anytime before?
Yeah, I speak with you maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
about about data science,
Oh, okay. So you are from?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. So you have been doing your master's, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to join in a data science course somewhere, right?
Yeah,
in New York. Have you started with that?
not yet.
Sorry,
Not yet.
why? The course schedule is far, or you are still in indecision?
Course schedule is far.
Okay, so you are preparing yourself for data science now, right?
Yeah,
And you
also thinking about QA
don't.
or like
How much time do you need to think? You need to go in one direction as soon as possible. I think I spoke with you a month before. Now I remember. And yeah, your background is some statistics background. You have some statistics knowledge, right? So you also have good result from your university back home. So I think I can remember all of that. So you need to make a quick decision. You should not delay this much time. That's a waste of your time, right? It's your time and it is expensive. It is expensive. You are not earning that much money, right? Or maybe you are not earning any money. I don't know. But your time is expensive, it's valuable. You need to make a decision. And I think I spoke with you, and I also suggested you that how you should approach towards making a decision, right? Um, Whatsoever, my strong recommendation is same as before. Invest your time and decide. You don't wait, because waiting is not going to bring any output, right? You have to decide and you have to go for action. That's it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for talking. Any help, you can shout out loud. We will talk. Okay. So any question from anyone else? Anything regarding QA, regarding his future, regarding maybe anything else. I don't care. I can answer you anything. So maybe some of you don't know my core expertise. I worked as a QA engineer before. Currently, I work in as a DevOps engineer. My expertise in Amazon Web Services. I'm a certified developer. I'm a certified as solution architect associate. Um, Amazon solution architect associate, in other words. So my core interest is building things. My core interest is contributing in my team, having some impact, right? Having pride of what I do. I want to feel at the end of the day that I have done something. Not like I'm just getting money out of my work. That does not make me happy. So yeah, that's like something you know I can tell about what I do. Is there anyone have any questions? Delawara, um, what is your status?
I still have to watch those videos.
Okay, don't take too much time. Okay, we are approaching close. Some of you may have seen the course deadline. So make sure
Yeah.
that you watch, you make your mind clear, and you get ready, right? Until we get, until you can make your mind, there is no point for you will not be able to put your time and commitment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you should not jump into something just because someone said this is good. Don't trust me even.
Yeah.
Okay, don't trust me. So trust is good, but that's not going to help you to commit your time, because at the end of the day, it's your time, right? So you are still working full time, right?
Yeah, I am.
So next 6 months or 7 months, will you have time while doing full-time job?
I have time now. It's just that as I told you, I was moving to my new place, so it was kind of hectic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm free now. I can watch the videos, I think sometime soon, either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, that will take time.
I'll
Those
be able to
videos,
finish it.
yeah, those videos are too long, like 3 hours. It is hard to keep concentration
Mm-hmm.
3 hours when you watch alone. But you should put your time and make sure that you plan properly. Okay. Um, we don't want to, as you know, we don't want to just like say it is going to happen. It's not going to happen if you don't put time. There are hundreds and hundreds of jobs you can search in all job portals. You don't have to listen or trust me. But the problem is people like you guys are like candidates. They are not willing to put time. This is very frustrating. Not all of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Many of them, it is hard for them to realize that. Let me tell you something else, actually. Often, the people when try to change a career, they have something called plan B. They have something called plan B. If this doesn't work, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to maybe, I don't know, I'm going to use my rent. I'm going to, I don't know what people does, I don't know. They have something called plan B. Definitely it is not, if it is better than this, then it is okay. But plan B is never better than plan A. People make a plan A because they seems this is the better options for them, right? But if you have a plan B, it is highly unlikely you will get success in this type of course. It is highly unlikely. So you have to throw away any plan you have. You should have only one plan. Okay, I'll change my career. That's my goal. Next 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, I'll start a new career. Then I will start something else. If you want to do a business, if you want to do something, maybe one more job. And there are people that are doing 2 and 3 jobs. This is a little bit crazy, but I know. I know that kind of people. Okay. I personally don't do 3 jobs. I do 1 job and 1 business. So teaching people or things like that. But there are people they do 2, right? But at first you make your solid ground, right? At first you need to make sure that you have enough money to rent, to travel, to eat, to feed your family, and do things you like to do, right? At least in other word, people say is American dream, right? Or I do say that, like, you just live, you need to live your life, because um, money is a seriously determining factor. You may not need millions and millions, but you need at least some amount, right? So yeah, get it done soon. Time is approaching, and because if you really sign up and join, then at that time you should be very, very confident and flexible to commit time to work hard. And that does not come just like by thinking. That only come when you act, when you work. Okay, all right. Thank you, Delar, for talking. I can see some text maybe. What type of experience at least client expect from a QA about Git, GitHub for code repository? Okay, this is a core technical question, and definitely I can answer. For those who do not have knowledge on these technologies or these technical questions, for them, just don't worry what Shamsur Rahman asked. Okay, what type of experience at least client expect from QA about Git, GitHub for code repository? Client expect you to have operational knowledge. What that means? You can commit, you can manage your repo, you can clone, you can push your work, you can use branches, you can merge branches, and you understand the basic Git workflow. In other words, because you need to understand, there are workflow for Git, right? For your code repository, which is might be test code repository. There are code repository related to development software, real application code. So that also has something called Git workflow. If you understand that, that might be good enough for you when you go to your work, right? And I emphasize personally on people's skills on Git client or Git command line instead of using some fancy Git graphical user interface. That's my preference. And usually in your interviews, it will be highly unlikely people are bothering you with Git when you are a QA engineer. It is highly unlikely. It is not likely. Okay. If this position is not very much related to DevOps activities, they will not bother you regards to Git knowledge. Are we good? Shamsul Rahman? Okay, so someone has difficulties with connection. I think Khaled Mahmoud. So yeah, anyone else? I don't know who is Rinky. Rinky, I think you are very new to us. Do you have any question? Now you can turn on your mic. Yeah.
No, I'm just watching. Thank you so much for the
Yeah. We can't hear you loud. So what brought you here today? Are you exploring, surfing what is QA and trying to think about next career move, or
Yeah, I'm doing with QA and exploring like to going for job interview. I see you post on Facebook. Like, okay, let's give it a try. Try.
okay, yeah, okay, no problem. Feel free to connect what's going on, and yeah, definitely you should take time to understand, and you should get opportunity to understand what you are looking for.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, no problem, and yeah, feel free to connect and ask anything you have. One thing we prefer in our organization, right, with us, we believe that not for everyone QA engineering, not for everyone development, right? You should have enough. Every candidate should have enough opportunity, or they have right to be guided in a right direction. If it is something for you, you take it. If it is not for you, you don't take it. You don't have to, just jump into a course. You have to make sure.
I really like what you say, plan A or B. So yeah, I definitely really like this idea because we should have a plan A, not plan B for ready. That I really like it.
Yeah, so I get little difficulties to listen you because of some noise maybe, but yes, you are right. Thank you for agreeing. I think you agreed with the opinion I gave on plan A and plan B. Right, plan B is something definitely not right, definitely not good. It does not allow you to get success, right?
Right.
But you should determine which one is your plan A, and this determining time or strategy is something you may have to discover. You may have to maybe take help of people that, okay, how can I decide which one is good plan for me, right? If you don't know, then you take informations, you analyze those informations, and you decide. Like in our case, we give people informations. We don't decide on behalf of people. We don't ask you to people to sign up to code to the course, because that is a very far away things. You can sign up, you can pay money to any course. That's very easy, but it's not easy to have 200% commitment the day you start course. Here in Izan IT, we confirm the first day you come in, you have 200% commitment towards the course, because we start communicating with people long before. We try to grow, we try to tell people what it is. Some of you already been connected with us and you might be aware of it. Means you know it, right? You know the process. Like Delawara, she came in touch maybe a month before and things like that. So it doesn't matter, you go wherever you go, make sure you take ample time and make sure that you have ample informations, you have done your proper research, and you identified your field of interest, and then you identified that field of interest is going to give you good amount of, if you are looking for money, good amount of money. If you're looking for peace, good amount of peace. Because some people may look only for peace, they don't need much money. So I don't know what kind of people you are. There should be money, there should be some balance, right? I believe there should be balance. Peace, definitely money too. Because without money you cannot.
There should be a balance for sure.
Yeah, there should be balance, right? So you identify your balance, because it is not unique, it is not true for everyone, right? People to people there are differences, right? There are engineers, they're QA for 28 years. I know a QA engineer, 32 years QA engineer. Okay. There are QA engineers 18 years. They pass the rest of their complete life behind QA engineering. But are all of them like that? See, I'm not like that. I was QA engineers, and at that time I found that I don't use my memory or brain properly. Because I had plenty time to gossip, I have plenty time to talk to other people, and maybe helping other people, things like that. Then I realized that I'm not using my brain properly, so I need to put enough load so that my brain, I use properly, right? So I turned into some other things, and I turned into something what I am more passionate about. So you do have to also, so that's actually, I'm talking about your interest, right? So you have to really find out your interest, and you need to balance, right? Some people like to be like that. Some people like to do extra things. Some people maybe want to do something else on top of what they're doing today. So at the end of the day, is it giving you happiness, and is it balancing your life, right? Do you have enough money to live? Do you have enough money to survive? And also you have that mental peace. So yeah, all this you should consider if you make your career move, whether it is QA, BA, or it is a DevOps engineering, or maybe a data analytics. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter which career path you go. It matters that whether you like it or not, right? So like Sayed Ahmed, I spoke with him before. So people who has, let's say, some form of statistics knowledge, right? People has some form of data modeling knowledge. They might be good fit to be a data analytics or data analyst, or maybe data scientist, right? So, but people having no knowledge in anything, fresher, but has logical orientations, has ability to understand, ability to communicate. They may start with QA because it is also giving you good money. It has good value as well, and moreover, it has less work. Less work in a sense, less critical work, because due to your act, there might be some loss, but there will be no total downtime due to you in most of the cases. That means you are not crashing Amazon.com, right? Amazon.com can be crashed by the people like those who are responsible to give life to the Amazon.com, right? They may crash it. So those positions are critical, super critical, right? You hasn't seen that Amazon.com is down, right? But there are lots of problems behind the scene. Nothing is 100% in this world, right? Amazon.com also have problems, but you don't get that, you as a customer, you don't realize it. So there are a role like that. There are a role like QA where you have less critical responsibilities. You have much work-life balance. Then maybe DevOps engineer, maybe a QA engineer, because maybe a developer, because a developer is sometimes under tremendous pressure when they have to fix something within a short time. So I have been working with a team, external team. They need to integrate something. They need to do something within our system. They need to communicate with our system. We made some changes. They have to adjust with that changes. It has been 3 weeks. We are trying to help them to implement their code in such a manner so that they can consume our system, right? Consume the new change we made in our system. They have been struggling. So they are one of the team we have been helping that's in India. They failed to do that job. And we already missed a deadline, but the team in the US, our client we're talking about, they took over that job from the team in India. They said, okay, you know what, because we said you guys are unable to fix it. And the thing is that solution we have that is solid, that is rock solid. They could not identify that it has problem. So they have the problem. So their one team failed. They took over that responsibility to other team in US. So sometimes the job is that much critical, that much pressure a person get, right? A developer gets. And in other words, DevOps engineers, those who really put life into an application, right? Those who may be more into application architecture, most into maintaining infrastructures. They have lots of privilege to destroy something. They have privilege to build something. So that's why their responsibility also such. If you build something, you are actually take that ownership of that system, right? And then if good goes, everyone appreciates. If something bad, you are the first person to jump in and fix that stuff. So there are things like that, right? Do you like that? So when you decide on these are the career paths, you must think in that direction, right? You must need to consider this stuff. Although it is hard for you to understand or for you to realize, because you are not working in the real field. But again, you should talk to professionals. It does not have to be me. I am a professional. What that means, I do work, and I also a professional mentor. So I might not be right people many a times to talk. You may not trust me, right? So you should get information from people like me. Also, you should verify the informations with people you trust. It might be your friend, it might be your friend's friend, it might be someone who does not have business interest. And then you identify the truth, right? Whether these people like us is telling the truth, and then think about when you have a real data, real things to decide, then you go right, left, or wherever. So I always say that how to do is very easy task. What to do is tough. So decide what you will do. If you are in confusion, put your time, do your research, make sure you take some action. Is there any question? What usually will be the first 2 weeks activities for a QA engineer once? I'm really sorry. I am just like this, like I'm just touching my nose again and again. Yeah, so usually be the first 2 weeks activity. So there is no such things first 2 weeks activities. So I always suggest people to think this way. When you have this type of questions right in front of you, think yourself in any job you have done in past in your life. Okay, maybe in your job you may have worked in a shop, maybe a school, maybe some administrative task, right? Think about that. If you go to your work first day, at least people don't give you all the tasks first day. People allows you to understand their environment, their team, their what job they do, right, day to day. So they allow you to get familiarized. That's the very first thing people allow in any job, any industry, anywhere. So first thing is familiarization. You familiarize yourself with the work, with the environment, with the people you work, and things you may have to do, right? So that's the first thing people allow. Now, when you say first 2 weeks, you may need 3 weeks or 4 weeks to get well acquainted with the environment you are going to work. So when you join as a QA engineers, your team will allow you time to understand those facts. Try to understand the team, their projects, what product, especially actually to be more specific, when it is a QA engineering, you should try to focus on understanding the product, right? Because when you go to a team, your job will be testing, right? Your primary job. That means you need to understand the product, you need to understand the business. So you should take all effort to understand the product first. So you talk to respected people, right? Someone who has knowledge, someone who is responsible. You ask them, provide me information, tell me what do you guys do, what this product does, or maybe. So especially for everything, there will be a documentation in a company. Okay, in a good company, there should be documentation. It should be in some form of, we say, wiki, or it should be some form of blog type documentation. There should be a website where it should be written. There is a very known website, known product we use called Confluence or Wiki. So it's like a blog where people document. So it should be documented somewhere. The activities, products, business requirements, and things like that. So your job as a QA engineer, when you join, communicate to the respective people, because at the first day they will say, oh, hey, this is your manager, I am your manager, this is your developer, this is your business analyst, this is your product owner, right? So when you know all these people, you know whom to talk, and you should know whom to talk. If it is something business, you may talk to product owner or business analyst, right? If it is something related to understanding application architecture, you may talk to developer, or if you have a solution architect in your team, you may talk to them. And if it is pure code issues, you want to understand how this application is built, what are the technologies used behind the application, you should ask that questions to developer. So you need to know whom to ask what, and also you should know when and how you should ask. These are common sense. Okay, these are common sense based on your knowledge, because if you do not have fundamental knowledge or solid knowledge on, let's say, development, database activities, product, right, business activities, and if you are poor communicator, you find it is difficult to ask question to people, and the problem arises at that point when you do not know how to ask question. So first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that familiarization period, why I don't want to confine it in 2 weeks, the reason is it could be 4 weeks, it could be 6 weeks. Okay, when we get some DevOps engineers on board, right, maybe they don't get access to the production system, the real critical system, maybe few months. So that's how things works. You may not get access to the some sensitive items so soon because you may have joined just now. So they need to look you, they need to have that confidence over your work, over your capacity. Then they can allow you to, give slowly all the access. So the first thing should be familiarize yourself with all team members, understand whose responsibility is understand your project management system, how it works, what are the meetings they conduct, and you get the basic workflow. Then you make yourself familiarized with the product, right? So basically this is what you do at the initial time, and same time you will be getting lots of access, because in some companies, as I said, you may need few months to get all the access, but they will give you XYZ access and things like that. And it might be related to your computer, related to applications and things like that. Rizanul, are you good?
Yes, thank you, bhai.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions anyone have? Is there anyone I never spoke here before? Sayeda, do you have any question? No?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah. So you have all the access, right?
Online?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have done that.
Okay. Make sure that you utilize this time and get ready for the second week of October.
Okay, I will. Okay.
Yeah. So, your report summary has meaning to us. So make sure we get the summary properly over email, okay?
Okay, I will.
So that's important, okay?
Okay, I will.
Help us, because if you don't help us, we may misguide you,
Uh-uh.
right? Your summary let us understand what's going on with you. If
Okay.
we don't understand what's going on with you, we may tell you, okay, you are eligible for the course. Might be you are not eligible for the course, right? We are just misjudging you, right? So we don't want to do any misjudgment. We want to make sure that we can help you out, and then we take you on board. Then you start spending your hard-earned money, right? So allow us, make sure that you do it daily basis, regular basis, and hopefully we'll be fine. All right. So do I see someone new? So Shamsur Rahman, you are in the market currently? You are looking for job?
Yes, actually, I'm in market last week.
Last 2 weeks you are in the market. Okay, that's good. Just remember one thing, market is oversaturated by so-called Q engineers. When I say so-called Q engineers, it sounds good, but this is truth. There are people with good profile, good resume, right? But there are not enough people with good quality. So you need to identify where you are standing, what is your depth. If your depth is very less, if you are shallow, make sure you make a plan to ramp up to come to a certain standard so that you can be considered as an exceptional QA engineer, so that you get what you want to get, right? At the end of the day, you want a job. If you think yourself, whatever you have learned, whatever you have been trained, that's enough, and I don't know where you learned, who you are. I really personally don't know. So it's not to comment over where you learned or from whom you learned. It is a general guideline for anyone, I believe, in this path of, in this journey of career change. So you make sure that you have your learning plan in place, because it may take you a few months to get a job. These few months, you should not only read about bunch of things you have learned. You also should have a learning plan. Okay, by next 2 weeks, I'm going to learn these new items. By next 2 weeks, I'm going to learn that items. And over 4 months, you will see you have learned a huge number of items. Okay, and how you can think about that, okay, Jahidul, how can I learn them, right? How can I decide what to learn and what not to learn, right? That is very important, because there are so many things. So when you approach towards the requirement, you look into the requirement, you make sure that sorry, you will find out that you make sure you look into the requirement very carefully. You will see there are some new items coming up in the requirement which you never saw. Maybe you are not good at CI/CD, maybe you are not good at Git, maybe you are not good at NoSQL, maybe you hasn't learned NoSQL, right? Maybe you are if you are poor at programming, you take a schema project to improve your programming over 2 months or 3 months. If you hasn't solved problems, and then make sure that you make a plan to solve 100 problems. Go to HackerRank, solve problems. There are many other tests you can appear where you can solve problems, build your, increase your skills, because you will face this problem, right? So summary is, when you are in the market, just don't focus on job hunting, just don't focus on learning bunch of questions and things like that. Make sure you have a learning plan in place. So if you study 10 hours, put 2 hours for studying something new. So over 30 days, you have 60 hours of studies. You studied 60 hours in some new topics, and definitely you will learn something new. And you can add that one in your resume, update your resume with that new excellency or knowledge. That's going to add up a huge amount of things in, during the time you are in the market. Okay, that would be my suggestion. So
Thank you.
Adil, how is everything going? Adil?
Yes. So yeah, I didn't start that yet. I'm like still studying for my insurance, but hopefully by tomorrow, I will start the trial.
As soon as you can, because the clock is ticking. Okay, it's moving, it's not stopped. And
Yeah.
until unless something exceptional does not happen, we usually don't change date. Okay, so even if you make your mind to come in first day, make sure you want before that you do some study, right? So that you don't see me, very unknown people. Okay. Most of us people will see that they are not unknown, they know things. So it is better because there is always pre-preparation required. Usual training does not require pre-preparations, but with us, you require pre-preparation. So do not waste this time as we are spending time, so that you utilize this time too, okay?
Yeah, sure. Like hopefully, yeah, like I'm gonna start by
Team
tomorrow.
up with your friend in your neighborhood, okay? I don't see your friend today here, somehow he's missing. Talk to Rafael and make sure you team up, you work with him, and don't worry, this time is valuable, guys. So yeah, make sure you do it and keep us posted.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So any other questions? Anything else? No? All right. If you don't have any question, thank you very much for joining, and I appreciate your time. Shamsur Rahman, any question?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Actually, last week I had an interview. They asked me, how do you handle production issue? First time when I heard, I was confused. Then I asked second time. That time I make some answer inside me. So I say, okay, we have the different team for the release chain management. I'm not, actually, I don't do this thing. We have the different team to take care of the release chain management. Then somehow she skipped.
Yeah, not a good answer. Okay. Your resume must have few years of experience, right? If I understand correct. You should have experienced production problems. You should have, found those issues, and you should have taken some attempt to do that. So you should be able to answer this question. Number one, you tactfully avoid, but the person who is listening to you is already experienced in this line. So he or she knows where you are standing, right? What is your depth? So, but again, to answer this, you just need to identify, right, what is production system. You need to understand the importance of production system. You need to understand how the QA system QA environment looks like. You need to also identify how a user acceptance environment looks like. So we say lower environment to higher environment. As we move to higher environment, these are more important, these are more critical. So if you find the problems in a critical higher environment, you really have to pinpoint the problems. So one of the things you should do, you should immediately compare your immediate lower environment. So before production, you may have user acceptance environment, or you may have different name in your company. So immediate lower environment is user acceptance environment. You should compare to system. You should say, hey, do I see it in user acceptance environment? Oh no, I don't see it. It came into the production. So that's like something not appropriate, right? Because this both should be identical, same, because the same code, right? It should not have a problem. It goes because from if environment 1 is, let's say, development, then environment 2 is QA, environment 3 is user acceptance, then environment 4 is actually production. So it goes from lower environment to higher environment, right? So all these environments should have a same code, should have a same functionality with different data set. The data set will be different, right? But the functionality wise, it should be same. So first thing, I should go to immediate next environment, which is user acceptance, and I should check the difference. If user acceptance is working well, then I have to look into a deep dive and see what's wrong happening in production. Is there any mistake? Is there anything like they have merged some other branch of code, not the user acceptance code, not the code expected? So that could be various scenarios, but this should be your approach when you talk to them. This could be one approach. There might be many other approach, but this could be one approach.
So the UAT environment, it's like a better environment if I want to compare it like with the production.
Yeah,
I don't know about the UAT environment, but
beta environment, it could be alpha environment. Usually we don't name beta environment and alpha environment in regular companies, okay? These are the bookish terminology, okay? So there will be name something XYZ, but it should be, you always understand something called lower environment and higher environment. Production is higher environment. That's the final environment. Before that, you may have user acceptance environment. That could be alpha, beta, gamma, I don't know. You can name anything you want. But user acceptance is almost like production environment, but the real users, 5 and 10 users, they test here. So that's user acceptance. That's the way higher environment too. And then before that, you may have a QA environment. Before that, you may have a development environment. So those are all lower environment. So just try to do some research on what it means in tech, software engineering, lower environment and higher environment. That will give you better idea and understanding. It seems like you do not have a clear picture on these environments, what I'm talking about. So I would suggest take some time, do some research on how the environment's being defined in software engineering process. That will help you out. So
thank you for your answers. Maybe now I can clarify them.
Yeah, so don't take my answer only. That is not helpful, because what I tell you, that is a small information of a big information.
UAT, so
you make sure you do your research, okay? Then you can talk much more with confidence. So if, let's say, a person like me, when they talk 2 lines, for that 2 lines, they must have spent maybe 200 hours, right? So try to understand, when a people has experience, they talk with something, informations, they gain this information over time, over spending many hours, right? If you want to gain same confidence or same understanding of the person you are listening, you should go sit down, invest that time, at least some amount of time, so that you understand this one in much deeper way, right? So that's my suggestion actually, right? So I don't like to give people a straightforward answer for any question people ask, but in QA, like these are the sessions I give, but that's not my common way of teaching. I don't give direct answer. I don't like it. Means don't mind, your question is definitely nice and good, I answered it, but that's not that will not allow you to learn, okay? You must
now I have the picture.
You have the picture, and my request is for you to go and do some research. Past 2 hours behind this, try to find out what this gentleman said. about higher environment, lower environment. You will find hundreds of blog posts. People like us, they are talking. People like us, they are writing. So that will give you more bigger picture now, right? Now you know which direction to go. So my job is to show you a direction. When you ask me a question, I actually just show you a direction. I just tell you do this. That might allow you to know more. So I am a person, I'm a strong advocate of knowledge. Although I don't have much knowledge, but I believe if you don't put time to know things, you don't get that confidence and understanding. Okay. Any other question anyone have? No? Okay, all right. So if you don't have questions, thank you very much. We are 14 minutes over than our scheduled time. I appreciate you guys are joining, and we'll see you sometimes in next session, okay? Feel free to reach out, ask us question and things like that. I think all of you are aware about our Facebook pages or maybe YouTube pages, I'm not sure. But I can just give you guys a quick rundown on our pages so that you can be connected with us. So let me just share, give me a minute, I'll just show you. So we do have actually, this is my personal profile. You guys maybe know me or don't know me, I don't know. You can find out me. Everything you see here, these are my past and these are my present. And I do have also a page. You can sometimes follow that page too. Or yeah, actually this is my page. You can find as jahidul.design.it. And also this is our school page, or I won't say school, this is our coaching page where we coach people. You can follow us here as well. If you don't know, you can find out Design.it. With Design.it, you can find us in YouTube too. These are just like some activities. We are not that public, but we still try to keep some public information for people to know who is this guy, who is talking, we were not public for many years. Like we have been operating about more than 3 years, but it's people need to know who we are. Then only people come and ask us question, right? So as part of that, we have these other platforms. We are also in LinkedIn. If you are in LinkedIn, you can follow us. Our company name with Izan.it, you will find Izan.it. So yeah, we are almost everywhere, in Twitter as well, in Instagram. So we are a little bit active. Yeah, so that's it. Stay connected. You're welcome. Yeah, good night, guys. Have a good night. Yeah, bye. Assalamu alaikum.